Most people think getting rich is about money. They think it's about owning things, cars, stocks, companies, influence. They're wrong. I got rich when I understood this. Value is created when you stop chasing and start seeing. I was chasing success, chasing approval, chasing the next big thing. I had goals, sure, but I had no clarity. I had speed, but no direction. One day it clicked, not because I hit a jackpot, but because I hit a wall. I was exhausted, but more than that, I was empty. I had done everything right, and yet something was missing. What I finally understood was this: being rich is not about what you accumulate, it's about what you understand. I understood that. Simplicity is strength. Focus is freedom. Saying no is more powerful than saying yes. Time is more valuable than money. Tension is your most precious currency. And impact beats income every time. When I aligned my life around these truths, I got rich. Not just in my bank account, but in my spirit, my clarity, my creativity, my relationships. Rich in purpose, rich in peace, rich in the ability to wake up and say, this matters. That's when everything changed. You want to get rich? Then understand what matters and live like you mean it. Thank you. Most people are in a constant state of pursuit. They chase titles, money, validation, followers, deals, milestones, believing that once they get there, they'll finally feel successful, safe, or satisfied. But what they often don't realize is that chasing never ends. The finish line keeps moving. Every goal achieved just opens up another craving, another race, another higher hill to climb. It becomes a loop, addictive, exhausting, and strangely hollow. You can be running full speed and still be lost. Chasing is rooted in a mindset of lack. It says, I don't have enough yet, or worse, I'm not enough yet. So we chase things outside of ourselves to fill that gap. The world rewards this chase too. It applauds hustle. It romanticizes burnout. It sells the illusion that busy is productive and more is better. But in all this noise, something critical is lost: stillness, awareness, the ability to see, not just look, but really see what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're becoming in the process. Seeing is different. Seeing is presence. It's the ability to step back from the race, to observe what's really going on inside and around you. It's when you stop reacting and start noticing. You see patterns in your behavior. You notice where your energy leaks. You begin to question what you're chasing and whether it's even yours to chase. That shift, when you go from blindly sprinting toward a goal to consciously choosing a direction, is where everything starts to change. Not because the world changes, but because you do. When I began to see instead of chase, my decisions became sharper. My creativity deepened. I worked with intention, not compulsion. I started saying no to things that used to impress me and yes to things that actually fulfilled me. Seeing gave me back my agency. It grounded me. It slowed me down just enough to hear my own voice again. And in that voice, I didn't find fear or urgency. I found clarity. That was the beginning of real wealth. We live in a culture obsessed with speed. Everyone wants to move fast, scale fast, respond fast, build fast. Move fast and break things became a badge of honor. But moving fast in the wrong direction isn't progress. It's self-sabotage in disguise. Speed without clarity is like running with your eyes closed. You might cover ground, but you'll likely crash into something that matters. And the faster you go, the harder you hit. The world doesn't need more speed. It needs more people who know why they're moving at all. Clarity is a different kind of power. It's quiet. It's calm. It doesn't rush because it doesn't need to prove anything. Clarity cuts through noise like a blade. It allows you to strip away what's distracting, what's urgent but unimportant, and what simply doesn't belong. The moment you find clarity in what you want to build, who you want to serve, and what you will no longer tolerate, that's when momentum becomes real. Not artificial momentum created by busyness, but deep, focused progress that compounds over time. Most people confuse motion with meaning. They think being busy is a sign of importance. But clarity often looks like doing less, saying no, creating space, letting go of 10 good ideas so you can obsess over one great one. Clarity isn't just about vision. It's about subtraction. It's about removing the friction that slows you down in disguise. People forget that the most successful creators, leaders, and builders didn't get there by doing more. They got there by becoming incredibly clear on less. When I stopped prioritizing speed and started honoring clarity, I began to see the long game. I wasn't building for the next click or the next quarter. I was building something that could last, something I could be proud of. Speed makes you reactive. Clarity makes you intentional. And in a world that's constantly pulling your attention in 100 directions, being intentional is not just rare, it's revolutionary. Complexity is seductive. It makes you feel smart. It gives the illusion of depth. People often wrap their ideas, products, and lives in layers of complexity because it feels safer, like armor. But the truth is, complexity usually hides a lack of understanding. It's noise dressed as intelligence. The more clearly you understand something, the simpler you can make it. And the simpler it becomes, the more powerful it is. Simplicity is not about doing less, it's about doing what matters and doing it with elegance. It's clarity in design, precision in thought, and restraint in execution. Simplicity doesn't mean lacking detail. It means removing the unnecessary so the essential has room to breathe. That applies to everything: code, products, writing, systems, communication, even relationships. When you simplify, you create space. And in that space, your work begins to speak louder. One of the most underrated forms of mastery is the ability to make something feel effortless. That's what simplicity does. It invites the user, the reader, the customer, the team to engage without friction. It's invisible effort. But behind it is an incredible amount of care, intention, and discipline. Simplicity takes more work, not less. It demands you understand the essence of what you're trying to do. It forces you to cut, refine, reduce, until only the real thing remains. When I started valuing simplicity over impressiveness, my work improved. My decisions got sharper. My communication became cleaner. I stopped trying to sound clever and started aiming to be clear. And in that clarity, I found influence. Simplicity doesn't just help others understand you, it helps you understand you. It aligns your actions with your purpose. It removes the drag. It multiplies the signal. It doesn't slow you down. It makes you unmistakable. Most people spend their lives protecting their money but wasting their time. They budget dollars, track expenses, look for deals, yet give away their hours like they're infinite. But money lost can be earned again. Time can't. Every second you spend is gone forever. And even more valuable than time is attention. Because what you give your attention to shapes who you become. Your life in the end is just the accumulation of what you've chosen to notice, care about, and act on. We live in a world built to steal your attention. Algorithms, notifications, endless content. It's all designed to keep you reactive, distracted, and scrolling. If you're not intentional, your focus becomes fragmented, and your time becomes someone else's profit. You become busy but ineffective, informed but shallow, connected but numb. Protecting your time is no longer a luxury, it's survival. Protecting your attention, that's how you stay human. When I realized my real wealth wasn't in my schedule, but in where I placed my mind, everything shifted. I stopped multitasking, I built barriers around my deep work, I started treating my calendar like a bank account, each hour as a limited high-value investment, and most importantly, I became selective about people, conversations, projects, screens, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. Every yes is a no to something else. That math is inescapable. Time gives you the space. Attention gives you the impact. Together, they shape the quality of your decisions, your creations, and your relationships. The people who do meaningful work don't necessarily have more hours than you. They just spend them better. They don't consume more, they focus more. They're not faster, they're present. Real richness isn't found in having more time. It's found in finally realizing how precious each moment really is. It's easy to say yes. Yes pleases people. Yes opens doors. Yes feels like momentum. Early in life and work, we're conditioned to say yes to everything. Every opportunity, every project, every meeting, every request. We fear missing out, falling behind, disappointing others. So we say yes again and again until our time isn't ours anymore. Until our calendar is full, but our purpose feels empty. Until we realize every yes we gave without thinking came at a cost we didn't calculate. Saying no is uncomfortable. It can feel like conflict, but it's actually the beginning of clarity. Because no isn't rejection, it's selection. It's how you protect the integrity of your focus, your energy, your boundaries. Saying no to things that aren't aligned makes space for the things that are. It's how you move from being available to being intentional, from being busy to being effective, from being agreeable to being unshakable. Most people say yes out of fear of being forgotten, replaced, or misunderstood. But the people who leave a legacy are the ones who learn to say no with conviction. They're not scattered, they're not reactive, they're not chasing everything, they're building something. And building something meaningful requires trade-offs. It demands prioritization. You can't do everything, but you can do the right things if you have the discipline to protect your yes with 1,000 no's. The more you grow, the more valuable your time becomes, and the more deliberate your boundaries must be. Saying no is not a weakness, it's a filter. It's how you define your values without having to explain them. The moment I stopped saying yes to things just because I could and started saying no to things because I should, I gained power. Not the kind that controls others, but the kind that centers you, that roots you, that frees you to do work that actually matters. Income is measurable. It fits neatly on spreadsheets, resumes, balance sheets. It's the number we're taught to chase, the metric we're told defines success. And yet, some of the wealthiest people on paper live with a quiet emptiness. They achieve the numbers, but not the meaning. They scaled a business, but not a life. That's because income can grow without purpose. But impact, that requires intention. It requires depth. It asks who you helped, not just what you earned. Impact is harder to measure, but far more powerful. It lives in the unseen moments. The product that made someone's life easier, the message that helped someone feel understood, the decision that changed the trajectory of a team, a community, or a mind. It doesn't always shout, it often whispers. And that's the difference. Income is loud. Impact is lasting. One pays the bills, the other shapes your legacy. When I stopped optimizing for income and started optimizing for impact, something shifted in the way I worked. I became more honest in my ideas, more generous in my energy, more patient with the process. I wasn't just trying to succeed, I was trying to matter. That shift doesn't slow you down, it centers you. Because when you create from a place of impact, the work carries weight. People feel it. And that feeling spreads in ways no paycheck ever could. We're not remembered for how much we made, we're remembered for how we made people feel, what we stood for, what we left behind. True wealth is building something that outlives you, something that serves, that elevates, that ignites others. Income fades, titles fade, but impact echoes. And the moment you understand that, you stop playing the game everyone else is playing, and you start creating something that actually means something. So no, I didn't get rich when the numbers went up. I got rich when the noise went down, when I stopped chasing and started seeing, when I stopped measuring my life by how much I had and started measuring it by how much I understood. I got rich when I chose clarity over speed, simplicity over complexity, focus over approval, impact over income. And most of all, when I realized that protecting my time, my attention, and my values wasn't a sacrifice. It was the reward. Getting rich wasn't a moment. It was a shift from living wide to living deep. And if you understand that, really understand it, you'll realize you've already got everything you need to be rich. Thank you.